Welcome back. It is 1629, the last year of the first decade in America. I am so excited. I've had so much fun so far playing in America. I hope you guys have really enjoyed it so far. You'll have to let me know now that the decade is ending what you think about, the new format and everything. Obviously, we will be able to focus more on Margaret's life as she gets older and is able to do more things. But right now, as a child, I think it's fun to be able to focus on other Sims as well in their dramas. So, this year is also Margaret's birthday. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm really scared. Okay, let's take a deep breath in and out and roll for Esther. No 4, 8, or 17. She survived. Isaac Hobart, 13 or 19. Survived. Cella Hobart, no 7 or 14. She survived. And will she get married? No, she won't. Oh, what a bummer for you. Okay, and then Margaret. Margaret, please. No 7 or 14. I can't even look. I can't look. She survived. Okay. Oh, Margaret. And obviously, Margaret is getting married because she is our heir. Or not our heir, I guess, because she already ascended to the position. Oh my gosh, I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved. Okay, Bernard Dubois, young adult, no 3, 9, or 20. Bernard, survive. He did. Okay. I wanted him to survive. Poor him and Solomon. Brangwine Hobart, becoming an adult, 2, 6, 11, or 15. Oh, Brangwine, you died. It couldn't have happened to a better No, I'm kidding. Wow, that was mean of me. Okay, the townies. We have a couple of birthdays. Okay. Really just this baby is the one I care about. So we won't worry about that. Although, should we roll for them? Yeah, let's roll for them. Okay, let's roll for them. They just became adults. No, 2, 6, 11, or 15. They both survived. Okay, and then the toddler. Yeah, now a toddler. No 4, 8, or 17. Okay, well, that didn't do anything. That didn't change anything. All right. Okay. Oh, I'm so relieved, you guys, that Margaret made it to teenagehood. Now we just have one more roll, and then she can start having babies. All right, let's hop into the game. Okay, you guys, I cannot even handle what happens this year. So look forward to the end of the video because that's when all of the craziness starts. But let's start with Humphrey and Deita. So as you can see, their marriage is on the rocks. Like, it's really bad. They have all red in their romance bar, and they're going to start arguing. Their friendship bar is getting really low too. So they're just arguing because, like I said before, Humphrey does not feel like Deita is being the kind of perfect wife that he wants her to be, especially now that he has kind of ascended in rank. So he is feeling like, he needs to put on this front of like being this perfect family man. He has his 2 sons, his wife. Like, he's supposed to have this perfect family that everybody is supposed to look up to and emulate. And Deita is lazy and a slob, and so she's not really doing that kind of stuff. And so he is frustrated with her because of that. He really wants her to, do these things, and she's not doing them. And we can see the game automatically divorce them, but that didn't happen, obviously, because he would definitely not accept a divorce at this point in time, especially since he is trying to put up this front. So he would definitely pretend that they are having a happy marriage, everything is fine. So he basically is coming after her and being like, look, you need to do this, you need to do that, and what we need to do is have this, like, event. We need to host a dinner or something so that you can show everybody that you are a good wife and that we are a happy family and blah blah blah. So he kind of pressures her into doing that. So she agrees, fine, whatever. She's going to come over here and cook some food. So we'll say that, like, maybe after church gets out one day that she has them come and make some food for everybody. So everyone is coming over to eat, and, kind of they're showing off their perfect marriage and her nice cooking and, her hosting abilities and, all this stuff that Humphrey is kind of pushing for because he obviously feels that he has to show off that he is the right leader for this community and everything. Now, some people have told me, because only just now did the 1620 video come out. So some people have told me that they actually didn't all have to be Puritans. So I think that that's good to know going forward because obviously, our Sims are not acting in a Puritan type way, but I think it does kind of, give some room for growth for some of the Sims to do other things. So that'll be nice. But yeah, so basically that is what is happening here, the dinner, the event where we're showing off. And so the next thing is you can see Peter playing piano again. Peter is a music lover. And so Humphrey, who is trying to crack down on, some of the behaviors now that he's leader, he's a bit strict, in his attempts here to control the community. Maybe he's a little stricter than Wymond, even though Wymond did, have his moments. Humphrey is coming over to Peter and being like, look, you need to stop. Like you're going too far with the music thing. Like you can play at, church, but you're doing too much outside of that. It's a little teetering on the edge here. And I'm just giving you friendly advice, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm trying to tell you. And I think, so we can see that Peter and Humphrey actually like one time they almost woohooed and they somehow got their romance up. I think that's what happened to his relationship with Demeter. But basically I think that Humphrey likes Peter, like has a little crush on Peter. And he obviously, since he is making himself such a stickler for the rules and kind of rooting his whole personality in this kind of Puritan leader type of role, that he is maybe punishing Peter. Maybe Peter didn't need to hear about his piano playing, but Humphrey feels like this internalized conflict over his feelings for Peter and therefore is lashing out at Peter when Peter kind of toes the line of what might be socially acceptable in this community. So that is what's going on there is that is definitely him kind of, projecting some of his negative internal feelings. So now we're going to go and see Cella. So Cella has become a teenager when we weren't looking. Margaret also becomes a teenager. Everyone does this when we're not looking. But Cella is basically, kind of realizing now that even though she has Humphrey's backing, that she still feels kind of insecure in her position, especially since Odalina is not like a great mom anyway. So Cella is feeling a bit insecure. She's going to come and give herself like a pep talk because she is worried that now that Wymond is dead and now that she doesn't have that backing, that maybe she will have a harder time finding a husband. She always prided herself in the fact that she was a great catch. Everyone was going to want to marry her because of her father's position and blah, blah, blah. So that is something that she is now worried about, that no one is going to want to marry her. And we know that she has this big crush on Solomon. So what's she going to do is become more aggressive in her pursuit of him because she wants to snag a husband pretty quickly. She wants to get engaged. But Solomon isn't really giving her the time of day. You can see he declined the hangout. We're going to force him over anyway, but that embarrassed her a bit. And I think that she is definitely struggling because she wants to, make this connection. She wants to still have the life that she imagined herself living even before her father passed away. So that is something that she is struggling with, and that is why she is becoming more more aggressive in her approach to be with him, because she really wants to make sure that, she wants to make sure that she is going to be set up for success in the future. So that is what she's doing here. She is really, the horse just loves to get in the way. But yeah, so she just feels like, that's what's happening, that she is kind of losing control of her future and she wants to regain it. So that is why she is, really laying it on thick with Solomon, who we know is with Bernard and is not really interested in being with her. And so that is one of the issues there. So that is what they're talking about. And Odalina is not being helpful in the background, but she's chaperoning them at least. The horse keeps walking into the frame in front of me when I don't want them to, but that's okay. So Cella is trying to get closer. Actually, you could see that her relationship with Solomon had completely disappeared. Like they were friends as children, and that just completely disappeared. And so now we're kind of rebuilding that back up. So it kind of goes to show how not interested in her he is. But he is a little bit of a love bug, I think. So we'll see where that goes. Next, we're going to head over to the Metacomet family, and we're actually going to go to Highway, who as we know, has not successfully had a child yet, but she is okay. You're on fire now. Come on, you guys. Let me tell you, when fires are the okay, you'll see. You'll see. Anyway, so Highway, her sister is Sokanon, who is married to Anawan, who is having who had the affair with Odalina and then brought the affair baby home. So all that to say is that Sokanon is going to come over and talk to her sister. She's going to come over and basically, complain to her sister about her marriage in just a second, because right now Highway and her husband are enjoying their married life. They're so happy, even though they lost their child. They're having another one today, so they're very excited. But anyway, yes. So Sokanon is going to come over and we're going to chat with her about her marriage. Now, she is furious, right? She is so angry because she, gave him daughters, and he is more happy about getting a son from somebody else who can carry on his family name. And also she's mad that he obviously had an affair and had an affair child and then brought that child home, and she's just like, are you kidding me? Right? Like, she is not happy with that situation. She is not enjoying it. She does not like it. And he even comes over and he's like, seriously, like, you have to get over it. Like, we're married, get over it. It's over now with me and Odalina. Like, can't you just be happy with the life we have? You can treat the kid as if he's your own. And she just kind of storms away. She's like, no. She does not want this. Look at them two, like, looking at each other like, oh. But yes, the whole family is kind of involved in this drama surrounding these two, where they are really hanging on by a thread, their marriages. But yeah, it's not going well there. So now we're going to actually head over to Solomon Waldrik's house. So here they are, and they are going to chat, because we know. So I actually was Googling and I was doing some research, because I'm not really into the research part of this. But anyway, so I was doing some research, and it looks like what they did was the eldest son would get like half, and then everybody else, like the eldest son would get double as much as everybody else or something. So if there are two sons, what would happen is Solomon gets 2/3 of everything and Elliot gets 1/3. So that's how that supposedly worked. Of course, you had options. You didn't have to do it that way, but that was like an option back then. So Elliot is mad because him and Solomon were besties back when Bertram was here, and Bertram was, getting the bulk of everything. So when Bertram was getting everything, Solomon and Elliot were on the even playing ground, and they were good friends. But now Elliot, who is a kleptomaniac and is very jealous of the fact that Solomon now has something that he doesn't, he is not happy with Solomon. They are arguing a lot more. He is really just not enjoying the fact that now the whole dynamic has changed between them. The whole, like, brotherly bond, whatever, it doesn't matter, because Solomon is now getting that privilege that Elliot is still not getting. Even though Elliot will be getting more than he previously would have gotten, but it's still like, it makes him feel jealous. It makes him feel, he covets what Solomon has, and he does not like that Solomon has, his position has changed. And Solomon is kind of confused because obviously he never wanted to deal with any of this. He wants to be with Bertram. And so he wanted to be good friends with his brother and everything. It's just not happening anymore, and it's really unfortunate that the relationship has come to this because of Elliot's jealousy and because of Bertram's decision and everything. So they are having a hard time. But meanwhile, what we're going to do, because we haven't really been playing with them that much, is we're going to have the three members of the Phelps family come over. Mia and Nicholas are married, and they have a daughter, teenage daughter, Jane. So they are going to come over because they know that Solomon is a good catch as well. You know, like Cella is after him, but also like there would be other people who would be interested in having that 2/3 of, you know, what they have here. So they're all going to come and chat, and you know, they're telling him, you know, we've come over today because we want to introduce you to our daughter. We want, you know, you to look at her as a potential wife. And so Solomon is obviously being polite and entertaining them and, you know, having them come over. And Elliot is kind of pushed out of the conversation. You see there where like Solomon is kind of like, oh, okay, like as these two people kind of pitch their daughter to him and like want him to marry her and all of that. So he is kind of uncomfortable with the situation. You can see that he's embarrassed, but he also like doesn't really know what to do besides be polite and like hang out with them. So he is struggling. He's not really interested in her, but obviously, you know, her family wants to make a match here. And meanwhile, Elliot, who is kind of off, is like, you know, he would marry her. You know, he's like, I would, you know, he wants to do something, right? So he is definitely interested in her, and kind of comes over, and where Solomon is kind of, you know, not giving a lot into the conversation, Elliot kind of fills in, and he starts to talk more and more to Jane personally, and like trying to, you know, befriend her, trying to talk to her, because, you know, he is a kleptomaniac, so he does want to take from his brother, even though Solomon doesn't really want this, but Elliot doesn't really know that. Elliot just sees that all the ladies are trying to get after Solomon, and he's jealous of it. And so he kind of, you know, talks to Jane and is chatting with her, but her parents are obviously more interested in Solomon because he has more to offer than Elliot does. And so that's why, even though Elliot has now got a crush on Jane and is focused on her, and she even is enjoying his company and they're becoming friends, but meanwhile her parents are still just not really interested in what Elliot has to offer because it is less than what Solomon would have to offer. So that is kind of what's going on here. He's even trying to schmooze her parents a bit, but it's not really working. They are not really interested in that or in that situation. So that's what's going on there. That, you know, maybe Elliot and Jane will have something. We'll see. But for right now, all we can do is just kind of accept that her parents are not super into him. They are more into Solomon, as you can see here. So next, next we are going to head to our main household in just a moment. Just trying to get through the night a little bit, I think. But yeah, so we're going to head over to our main household. And this is where the disaster starts happening. You guys, I just can't even take it. I swear. Like, it's just too much stress for me. But you can see Margaret aged up while we weren't looking. So I'm just going to quickly change her outfit so that she matches and everything. We're going to get some of this stuff off of her. And I'm going to give her some facial details. She just like kind of looks too much like a porcelain doll without anything on her face. Also, I don't know why these little bonnets just have like gray hair. I don't know. I was trying to figure out if there was a way I could fix that, but there really isn't. I don't know. Whatever. So that's what we have here. We have her, and she is gorgeous. She actually has a pretty good mix of her parents, I feel like. Now that she is all grown up, like her facial features, I feel like are a pretty good mix. And now, here she is. I'm going to give her some eyelashes just because I feel like she needs them. But there she is, and we are going to head to our house now. So Margaret's birthday is happening. She's becoming a teenager. She's 13 now, and she needs to start thinking about her future. But she doesn't have time to think about her future because all she can do is garden. All she can do is take care of the house and take care of the kids, and she's still doing so much stuff for everybody, and she just does not have you know, the option to really focus a lot on some of the other stuff. Also, I'm struggling with the laundry here, but anyway, so yeah, she just doesn't really have that option to focus a lot on anything else besides trying to take care of the house, which is what she is doing right now. And then there's a fire, and Priscilla is on fire, but she's fine. She's fine for now. Everyone's fine for now. Oh my gosh. I didn't even get pictures from this whole section because I was just like so confused and didn't know what to do with myself. So anyway, we're going to have a baby. Zebediah Hobart is going to be born. That's fine. He survives. They're fine. But then we get the cursed residential rental event. And I guess I didn't really realize that that meant that everything was going to catch on fire. So now there's a fire in the garden. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm trying to put out the fire. And then Margaret is like on fire. And I'm like, somebody put Margaret out. And nobody is coming to put Margaret out. Of course, Ismay is the only one who can. And she won't come because she hates Margaret. Oh my gosh. And then Margaret just dies. It's just like the highway thing. Oh my goodness. I like couldn't even believe it. And you know, I'm not letting Margaret die. She did not roll to die. She's not supposed to die this year. She's not supposed to die. She's not dying. But I'm just like in shock, right? Because I'm like, are you kidding me? On the day she ages up into a teen and she finally starts to become interesting, you know, like she finally can start to have relationship drama and everything, you're gonna do this to me? So, oh my gosh, my throat is like hurting from being so animated about this. Anyway, so I bring her back to life. I bring her back, and what? There's another fire because a curse thing is still going on. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get Margaret involved in this fire. I'm just going to have her call the fire department. And what does she do to call the fire department? Walks directly into the fire and dies again. Oh my gosh. Like, how does this happen to me? And then I thought to myself, I was just like sitting here like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to let her die? Oh, and also, Ezra, how did you die? How did you die? You were right there. You weren't even close to the fire. Ezra just died. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Ezra's gone now. Margaret has died twice. And now, of course, Highway is giving birth to twins, and only one of them survives. We're going to name him Dakota, whatever. So anyway, that's not what's important right now. Also, I realized I forgot to update all of the stuff with the babies because everything's on fire and I'm stressed and I just like I cannot handle it, you guys. I cannot handle it because I am just sitting here like, oh my gosh. And it's like, seriously. So I'm thinking to myself, like, should I let Margaret die? Because this is twice now, and twice is a lot. You know, twice is a lot. So it's like, is it the way it's meant to be? You know, and it's really, really tough because I just like don't know. And but I say to myself, you know, I have plans for Margaret. I am really excited about Margaret's future and about the things that she has going on. And she's not supposed to die this year. She did not roll to die this year. So I said, fine, like I will let Ezra die if that means I can keep Margaret. So I basically negotiated with myself, well, you're already letting one sim die. Like, I guess it's okay. So Ezra is gone, but Margaret is still alive. But we are going to give her scars because obviously she earned them. So she is going to get some scars. And so I think Ismay is kind of looking at this as a good thing because Ismay was actually going to talk to Margaret today anyway because she doesn't want Margaret to get married and move out because she wants Margaret to take care of the house. She wants Margaret to do everything until Abraham gets married and she can then have a daughter-in-law she can push around. But obviously Margaret is desperate to get out of the house, so she wants to find someone right away and get out of here. But Ismay is kind of like, you know, you can take your time finding a husband, blah, blah, blah. But especially now that Margaret has been scarred by the fire. Also, why don't we have any burn scars in this game? Like, I can't find any CC for it. I don't know, like, what to do there. But anyway, some people were doing some cool scar things with the new tattoo feature. So I'm like, oh, maybe some people will upload some cool burn scars for me. But anyway, that's besides the point. Now, Ismay kind of has another way to control Margaret because it's like, oh, well, you know, who's going to want her now is what Ismay is thinking. Obviously, Ismay's a bad person and she thinks bad things about people. But, you know, now she's thinking that Margaret is definitely going to have to stay and take care of things for her. Meanwhile, Margaret, like, came to, like, stay in the church and pray. And I think that that's so sweet because she's probably, like, really grateful for being alive, but also really sad about Ezra. And I'm sure that she has a lot of feelings and she is just kind of, you know, seeking out a higher power to understand that. And so then we're going to do birthdays. As you can see, I've had a hard time today. So we have Esther Hobart becoming a toddler, Isaac Hobart becoming a child, Cella Hobart becoming a teenager, Margaret de Mohun becoming a teenager, Bernard Dubois becoming a young adult, Brangwine Hobart dying, Jacqueline Phelps becoming a toddler, Ezra Larkin dying, and Zebediah Hobart being born. And then Dakota, I think, was born on the last day, so he's not going to have an age up this year. But oh my gosh, can you see why I'm having such a hard time? Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's what happened. I you guys enjoyed this decade. It's quite the way to end it, but I am really excited for what Margaret has going forward. I'm really excited for her story, her love story, which I've already got really thought out here. So I hope you guys are excited too, because it's going to be awesome, and lots of things are going to happen. So I hope you're looking forward to it, and I'll see you next time. We'll have a recap video, and then we'll head on to the 1630s.